85,
90.
90, 95.
We're playing for keeps.
We're on the market. Stay strong, sir.
Sold! Hi, welcome to GPTV on Tuesday the 10th of June. I'm Gary Peer.
And I'm Leo Samuel. Good to be back, Gary.
Good to have you here, Leo. We've got Philip swanning around the world, having a great time.
Well-deserved break.
And in the meantime, we're just slogging away while he just goes living it up, putting his feet up, having cocktails and martinis and, going to, I don't know which exotic part of Europe he's in. But anyway, I hope that the Euro makes it a little bit harder for him so he has to come back to work and do some work. He always gives me a hard time when I'm away, which is very rare compared to him. And he's not even here to defend himself. I love that. But anyway, Philip, we miss you, and hopefully you and Irene are having a lovely time.
Have a great break.
Let's just talk a bit about the real estate world, Leo. Last weekend, no
Much
auctions.
Happening. Just Essendon Carlton, the result.
Carlton, what can you do, eh? Anyway, the result is the result, and we're both going to have to just live with it. So, quiet weekend. Other than Essendon and Carlton, we won't talk about the result, but other than Essendon and Carlton, no auctions, Leo, except for, of course, Horsley Avenue, but other than that, no auctions. But home selling before auction, we talked about this last week. I talked with Darren as my co-host last week. A lot of things are selling before auction. And
seems to be a bit more of a trend these days. I think, with buyers, especially those ones who are ready to make a move in confidence, and from, the last 2 years where the interest rates keep going up and up and up, the scare of paying too much, a lot more buyers out in force. But I think it's important, Gary, maybe talk about some strategies, what could be the right move to get in before auction, because we're seeing a lot of that.
Well, it was interesting. This last weekend, the weekend before this, was one of our, if not our highest, sold before auction ratios compared to sold at auction. So let's talk a bit about what a buyer needs to do, because we often have buyers that will step up before auction, but then they'll want to make an offer, but then they'll actually not be organised to make an offer. So if I can give you the top 3 things to be organised with: get your building report first, get your contract second, checked by a solicitor, and number 3, get your finance in order. And if there was a number 4, it would be work with the real estate agent, because sometimes we'll find that there's buyers that will make a very aggressive email or an SMS saying, I'll give you this.
Try to force the hand.
And then you've got 24 hours and the clock's ticking now, and we can't often even contact the vendor in 24 hours, let alone check the validity of the offer. So very important, I think, for buyers to speak to the agent and understand. I mean, there's sometimes, Leo, that you might want to pay a massive premium for property for auction, but the vendor won't be prepared to do it. What do you do in those cases?
I think it just don't put hurdles in front of the vendor, and more so the agent who will be relaying your interest to the vendor to make it, and just work with the agent. Ultimately, before auction, we know on auction day, Gary, we're selling on an unconditional basis, and in short, meaning not conditional upon finance or a building inspection or a 3-day cooling off period either side. But it's just more so if you want to buy, go for it, but at the same time, be ready. There's nothing worse than not being in a position to pull the trigger to commit, because we've seen people that say, I might have done something, but I was, something was else in the way. Well, you're sort of starting the process, but more so, a lot of vendors are open to selling beforehand, especially, in this market, if they get something solid and enables them to move on too.
Well, that's what's happened. We've found that a lot of people are coming together now. Buyers are saying, look, I don't want to take the risk of this competitive auction. And then vendors are saying, look, I don't want to take the risk of that buyer not being at my auction. So often it will happen beforehand, but really important that you cover those particular 3 bases with your solicitor, with your building and with your finance. But it's also important to understand what's important to the vendor. So if the vendor, because some vendors, they just want to go to auction and that's it. And they know
Have the day in the sun and see what goes on from a transparent manner.
We had one, a couple of weeks ago where the vendor just said, I don't care, it doesn't matter how big the offer is, doesn't matter what it is, I want an auction here. And in those cases, it's kind of futile. You just have to accept.
Yeah.
And ultimately, as much as you may think that we're in control, we are the professionals and the experts.
The vendor's call.
Our boss is the vendor, right?
Yeah, exactly right.
We have to do as we're told, and we're very compliant. Even though we give advice and our recommendation, ultimately it's up to the vendor. But it's so important that if you're preparing an offer for auction, you must be organised and speak to the agent, because the agent will know and will be able to guide you. We're not there to get in the way. We're not the enemy. We are the friend of a buyer, but we are also the subject to our master. and we will do what we are instructed to do by our vendor. Anyway, that's a little bit on that because a lot of people don't really know what to do. And also, I think buyers need to understand that even when they do go to bid before auction, buy before auction, a good agent might have another buyer or alternate buyers. They can't just overlook them either.
But also, I think, Gary, if you're wanting to do that, once you've got like those 3 points that Gary covered off on, be in a position to tempt the vendor, like to test the waters and then sort of run away and backtrack. It's not really appealing, and we're happy to guide our vendor to give them enough information to make an educated decision. But if it's worthwhile for them to consider, like, come with substance, like make your offer. Ultimately, it's got to be unconditional. Sometimes we get people wanting to stop the auction, subject to this, subject to that, and it's like, thank you for your interest, happy to relay, but our vendor ultimately wants to sell on an unconditional basis.
Yes, an auction stopping offer, we call it. And if you're going to ask for a 6-month settlement when the vendor's leading out and wants 30 or 60 days, or you're going to have a small deposit, or you're not going to be able to give the right price, it's not going to stop an auction. So auction stopping offers have to be compelling and work with your agent, especially if it's a professional, open and transparent agent about it, because they will understand what's likely to happen. And I mean, there's some companies we sell for trustee firms, for example, or it's an estate, it has to go to auction. It doesn't matter what you're going to offer, makes no difference.
Another thing from what's come out of COVID, we do a lot of our signing up contracts on an online platform. On the iPad, we signed the contracts years ago with the fax machines. Gary, you'll remember that, the old telex.
Sure.
Back then, it was very harder for people who can't come on the auction day to sign a contract. We can do things remotely. So the vendor's not as fast to say, you know what, if you can't come, we'll just go all the way to auction. They can send someone to bid on their behalf and sign the contracts electronically. But as we keep saying, if you want to tempt the owner before auction, and if the agent's guiding you, there's a window of opportunity to do so. Take their lead and listen to what they've got to say.
And work together, make it a collaborative approach. Let's talk a bit about what is going on in the market. We didn't have any auctions, but we've got some coming up. One of those, Leor, doesn't even wait until the weekend. It's in Coling Avenue, Carnegie, and I don't need to give you the brochure to refer back to this property, because this is a property that you are knee-deep in being involved with. So tell us a little bit about this property.
So Coling Avenue, it's a lovely pocket near Packer Park. Alex Duper from the office is handling that one. It's been popular because it's one of two on the block, single level villa units. Gary, we called it a while ago. They're like small homes. Downsizers love them, investors love them, and especially owner-occupiers. And
you don't have to wait for the weekend. That is going on Thursday night at a twilight, in fact, an evening auction. I love evening auctions. I'd like to have a midnight auction one day. But anyway, that is going to be happening on Thursday. And you're the auctioneer for it.
I am.
Let's just get into Saturday now. We've got double auction action at 10:30 a.m. We are going to be in Glen Huntly Road, and I have the auction honours for this fine property. Let's talk a bit about it.
2-bedroom contemporary townhouse in a great pocket of Caulfield, around the corner from actually I live in Caulfield South, and I reckon this is going to go really well. Handled by Arlene and Daniel. Come to this one if you're looking for something special.
Now you have the auction honours of a street named after one of Australia's greatest people, that is Sir John Monash, and this is Monash Street in Bentley East. You're hopping over there to do this auction, Leor.
3-bedroom villa unit, you've got to love these. Just mentioned about that, how popular villa units are in a great pocket of Bentley East, and Monash. A great name and a good offering for some lucky buyer.
I'm looking forward to meeting Mark Kirkham and Addie Ignatius in Hewington Road for this terrific 2-bedroom apartment. I've been involved in this block. It's beautifully completely refigured, not refigured, but renovated, refurbished, renewed, not a cent to spend, in a beautiful boutique, great looking block in Hewington Road, 2-bedroom, 1 bathroom, and a great security parking setup. Simon Radolnik at 1:30 is doing one of our 3 1:30 auctions in Tennyson Street. Tell us a bit about this.
Love Tennyson Street, right near the Tennyson Street shops in Elwood and the Botanical Gardens and all the action that Elwood has to offer. Yeah, a great apartment, nice and solid. This one here would be great for the investment portfolio.
I have got the auction honours in Caulfield South in Sycamore Street. Tell us a little bit about this good-looking home.
A contemporary townhouse there. It's if someone's looking for great accommodation, in a great street of Caulfield South, right near Princess Park, and all the fabulous cafes and coffee shops in Bamber Road there. I'll check this one out as well in Sycamore.
Leon Gusenfitter is the agent, I should say, together with John Sweeper. I'm looking forward to meeting them. Leo, your second auction on Saturday is in Mimosa Road, Carnegie.
Mimosa Road, a popular street in Carnegie, as we all know, close to the Carnegie pools and all the action that Koonang Road has to offer. But this single level home is perfect for a growing family. In time, you could refurbish this into something special, but the single level design is what it's all about.
Double auction action in Waratah Avenue, Glen Huntly. We've got the Graham Callan doing the auction for Rishi Thacker.
So this one here is a great apartment. It's been used by our client for investment for many years, but it's perfect for first home buyers or investors, and also right near the Glen Huntly refurbished train station as well. Check this one out if you're looking for something great.
Jeremy Rosens starts his entree to his auctions for Saturday. He's going to be in Nelson Street, Balaclava, around the corner from his office.
So it's a 3-bedroom solid brick home there. Great pocket, Nelson Street, Gary. Did you know Graham Kennedy's house? He's got the National Trust there right near the Coles car park.
That's right. Yeah, that's right.
So that's great there. If you love Carlisle Street action, I think this one's a great home, and it's, I think, a good home in terms of what you can do to it in terms of a refurbishment in time. But yeah, love that pocket of Balaclava.
Darling Road, Malvern East is a great spot. So much happening around there. Leon Guzenfit has been handling it. And Jeremy Rosens is the auctioneer there.
4-bedroom townhouses in Malvern East, very hard to find, especially at this price point. But yeah, close to all the action that Malvern East has to offer, right near the Waverley Road shops as well. The park not too far away, and an area where people want to be.
Leo Barr been involved in that sale also. 3:30, we bring down the curtain in Carnegie. Graham Callan again is the auctioneer in his block that could call it Cullen block. This one because Cullen Muse. You could call it Cullen Muse because Graham Callan's done that many sales here, but he's got this one coming up at 3:30.
So if you want to talk real estate all the time, you can come to our office, which is about 50 metres from this building. But no, 16 Werrell Street is one of those beautiful buildings, one of the first high-rises in Carnegie, and it's close to all the action that it has to offer. It's great accommodation, 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom. You've got to love the affinity pool on the top level there as well. And Graham is like, what we're talking about is like the mayor in this block. And
Sure
have a good chat with him. But yeah, come see him at one of our opens.
So 10 suburbs I think we've covered there, or including Sunday. And I know on Sunday I'm doing 4 or 5 auctions. You're down the corner, high up on Kooyong Road Hill, 5 at 20 Kooyong Road with Arlene.
This is a great block on the corner of Malunga Court there. It's owned by a good landlord client of ours who never had a problem finding a tenant. They lived in it for many years initially, and it was so hard to let go. He kept it as an investment, but time to move on now. Arlene's been handling this. It's been very popular, Gary, to date, with 3 bedrooms. Check this one out.
Jenkins Street is something I'm looking forward to seeing and auctioning, Leo, and that's going at 12:30 with Daniel Pierre and Arlene Joffe again.
A brand new town residence. If you don't want to get your hands dirty and deal with builders and developers to build and you want something already done, check this one out. Love the fact that it's got 4 bedrooms and 3 bathrooms as opposed to 2. Check this special home out with Daniel and Arlene.
The B streets are the A streets. The B streets, Caulfield South. Bialaba Road is one of those. It's going to be at 1:30. We're looking forward to that auction.
Yeah, single level units are very popular, especially in this pocket of Caulfield South. This is one that's been updated. I think it's been very popular so far to the market. So if you're looking something single level with a big outdoor space, check this 3-bedroom unit out.
Also, Arlene and Daniel, they are very, very busy on Sunday, and they are going to be bringing down the curtain with me as the auctioneer for 421A Inkerman Street, St Kilda East.
This is a beautiful 3-bedroom Edwardian home, close to all the action that Carlos Street has to offer as well. If you're looking for something special with a bit of land component to it, check this one out.
And that is a big wrap for this winter edition of GPTV. We're well and truly into it now. It's a little bit cool, but the market's not cool. The market is warm to hot, and we're looking forward to bringing you all the news. And we'll have the clearance rates next week for this weekend's exciting list of auctions. Thanks for tuning in to GPTV. I'm Gary Pierre.
And I'm Leo Samuel. Have a fantastic week.